Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty huge,
Mm.
alien intelligence.
Oh, wow.
But hold on, we're not talking, spaceships and laser beams.
Okay.
We're going way deeper, using archaeology and anthropology to understand how we might actually bridge the gap with an alien culture, like a truly alien culture.
It's a fascinating approach. I mean, trying to answer if we could ever truly understand a culture that's not from this planet.
I know, right? I'm hooked already. Where do we even begin with something like this?
Well, we're diving into excerpts from this NASA publication, Archaeology, Anthropology, and Interstellar Communication. And right off the bat, it makes this, oh, what's the word? This really thought-provoking comparison.
Hit me with it.
Okay, so imagine we receive a message, right?
Yeah.
But it's from a long-gone alien civilization, one that's been extinct for maybe millions of years.
Millions of years, wow.
Yeah, and the book compares this discovery to how, back in the Renaissance, Europeans rediscovered those ancient Greek texts.
I see where you're going with this, like stumbling upon, what's the word, like a lost library from a vanished world.
Exactly. Encountering a completely different way of thinking. Because, think about it, the rediscovery of Greek text, it totally reshaped European philosophy and art and science, their whole worldview. So this book asks, could an alien message do the same for us today?
That's pretty wild. Talk about an aha moment for humanity. But hold on, if we're talking about deciphering messages from a vanished civilization, doesn't that bring up the problem of how we'd even understand it?
You're hitting on a crucial point. We usually decipher lost languages with things like, what? Like the Rosetta Stone, right?
Yeah,
We need
yeah.
that bilingual key, that point of comparison.
Yeah.
But with a message from aliens, we might be dealing with ideas and concepts that are, I don't know, completely foreign to us.
It's like that saying, we don't know what we don't know. We might not even know what we're missing.
Right.
So how do the experts suggest we even start to tackle this cosmic Rosetta Stone problem?
Well, the book makes this interesting point. Even when linguists have deciphered languages here on Earth, without a Rosetta Stone,
Yeah.
they still relied on assumptions.
Assumptions, like what?
Assumptions based on shared human experiences.
Because we all live on the same planet. We experience the world in similar ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with an alien civilization, who knows, right?
Yeah.
What was their environment like? How did their senses work? What was their concept of reality? It really throws a wrench into our usual methods of deciphering meaning.
Okay, so let's say we receive a message, an alien message, but instead of it being, these complex symbols, it's something that seems, I don't know, more universal, like math equations. Would that be the key?
Now, that's a question that has sparked debate for decades.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Could we really go from understanding their math to, let's say, their poetry or their music? Could we grasp their emotions, their aspirations?
I mean, math is often called that universal language, but I see what you mean. It's a huge leap from equations to, like, the essence of a civilization.
And it raises another question, too. Let's imagine we make contact. How would we even begin to relate to a civilization that's so fundamentally different from us?
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms. It's not like we have this guidebook tucked away somewhere, right? How to make first contact.
Well, not exactly, but this is where this book gets really interesting. It looks at historical encounters, between different cultures right here on Earth
Oh, okay.
to try to shed light on how we might react.
You mean like those first contact moments throughout history? There are probably some cautionary tales in there.
Definitely. And the book uses two fascinating examples. The Aztecs, when they encountered the Spanish conquistadors, and then later the Maori encountering British colonists.
Okay, so we're looking back at history now. Aztecs, conquistadors, the Maori, British colonists. Sounds like we're about to get schooled on what not to do when you run into a society that's, a little more technologically advanced.
Yeah, the book really digs into those moments to kind of illustrate some key points about, well, cultural misunderstanding.
Let's start with the Aztecs. Not exactly a happy ending there.
No, definitely a tragic story. Miscommunication and some pretty devastating consequences. The Aztecs, they'd never seen horses before, right? Or firearms. They actually mistook the conquistadors for gods.
I remember that from school, yeah. Their whole worldview was just totally shattered.
Exactly. And it left them vulnerable, right? I mean, they went into that encounter with a way of seeing things that just couldn't handle the reality of the situation. And the result, well, the fall of an empire.
Stark contrast to the Maori, though, eh? They fought back against the British.
Oh, absolutely. See, the Maori, they were familiar with warfare, had a warrior culture, knew how to strategize. So even though they were outmatched technologically, they resisted, and hard.
So we've got two cultures, two very different responses to contact, and the outcomes are completely different. What's the takeaway? What's this NASA publication getting at?
I think it's about preparedness, practical and mental. The Aztecs, that's a lesson in the danger of misinterpreting the other, through the lens of our own limited worldview. But the Maori, they show us the power of resilience, even when the odds are completely stacked against you.
So if we meet aliens, especially aliens with fancier tech than us, we can't just assume they'll see the world the way we do. Got to be ready to, I don't know, adapt our thinking.
Exactly. Challenge those assumptions we have about the universe, about our place in it. It goes back to what we were saying about that Rosetta Stone problem.
Right,
We
right.
can't just assume they'll see the world the way we do. We need to be open to different perspectives, different ways of thinking, different ways of just being.
This makes me think about the Fermi Paradox, you know? If intelligent life is so common, where is everyone?
Ah, yes, the silence of the stars. It's a question that's haunted, well, everyone, really, for centuries.
And I bet anthropologists have some thoughts on this too.
They do. It goes back to cultural evolution. Like, if intelligence is common, shouldn't at least one civilization have cracked interstellar travel? Colonized the whole galaxy by now.
Right.
The Fermi Paradox really makes you question the whole idea that intelligence automatically equals, expansion, colonization.
Or maybe there's some kind of filter, something that stops civilizations from reaching a certain level of, I don't know, technological advancement.
Right. It makes you wonder if there's something, well, self-destructive about intelligence. Maybe society's hit a certain point and then boom, gone.
Okay, that took a dark turn. Are there any, more optimistic possibilities here?
Of course, maybe advanced civilizations choose not to colonize. Maybe they've learned that expansion just leads to conflict, right?
Yeah.
So they found a more, I don't know, sustainable way of existing. Or maybe, just maybe, they're out there watching, waiting for the right moment to make contact.
Like, let's see if these humans can get their act together first.
Well, we can only speculate. But the fact that we're even asking these questions, that we're wrestling with these possibilities, it really speaks to human curiosity, don't you think?
Our desire to connect, to know if we're alone. Speaking of connecting, the book, it suggests that language might not be the only way to bridge the gap.
Right. It explores communicating through art, through music, even through signs of religious practices.
Wow, that is some next level thinking. So instead of looking for, I don't know, coded messages, we should be looking for patterns in their signals that might be like artistic, spiritual.
Exactly. Like, imagine recognizing mathematical structures that resemble music, or visual patterns that have a sense of, I don't know, design, like aesthetic design.
So, I mean, recognizing alien art or music, that's one thing, but how could we ever be sure that we're, getting it right? Even here on Earth, people argue about art all the time.
Oh, absolutely. And the book, it acknowledges that, right? That we'd be bringing all of our own cultural baggage to the table. We might see art where it's actually, I don't know, a tool.
Or think something's just a tool when it's really like high art.
Exactly.
So it's not about perfectly understanding their artistic masterpieces, is it? It's about recognizing that capacity for symbolic thought. Like they have it too.
Right. Even if we don't get the meaning, just knowing that another intelligent species creates art, interprets it, that's huge.
Yeah.
Tells us we're not alone in, I don't know, thinking abstractly, being creative.
This whole conversation has been mind-blowing, really, but it makes you wonder if we did meet a civilization that, communicates in these less literal ways, could we ever truly understand each other?
That's the million-dollar question. And the book, it leaves us with this final kind of unsettling thought, actually.
Yeah, okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
What if the real challenge isn't finding intelligent life? What if it's accepting that some intelligence, it might be so alien, so different from us, that understanding is, well, impossible?
So we could be staring at, I don't know, an intelligence that operates on principles we just can't grasp.
It's humbling, isn't it? Imagine a civilization, right? And their whole perception of reality is so different, so foreign, that their art, music, even their language, it's all just completely indecipherable to us.
It's like trying to describe color to someone who's been blind since birth.
Yes. We might not even have the mental categories to begin to understand.
Wow. Okay, so we might not be able to translate their poetry or decode their prime directives, but maybe that's not the point, is it?
Maybe not. This book, it really pushes us to think beyond just, aliens exist or they don't. It's about expanding our whole concept of intelligence,
Yeah.
what it means to experience reality itself.
Not just expanding our knowledge of the universe, but expanding our understanding of what it even means to be, well, us.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, bumping up against those limits of understanding, That's where the real discovery lies.
Well said. A humbling thought for sure. Well, that was quite a deep dive today. So to everyone listening, next time you look up at the stars, think about this. What if the greatest encounter with an alien civilization isn't a sharing of knowledge or technology? What if it's about confronting the vastness of what we don't know, what we might never know?
Something to ponder, for sure.
It is. Until next time, everyone, stay curious out there.